It was just another ride. One of those quiet mornings where the word feels familiar, almost automatic. Same road, same rhythm, nothing out of the ordinary. And then, just a single bump. And in that moment, everything changed. Everything changed. This is not pain, but nothingness. For the first couple of months, there was nothing. No sound, no sensation, just stillness. I didn't feel anything. Not pain, not thought, not even time. It was like my soul didn't exist at all. Just a body, with no one inside. I fell into a coma for 6 months after a traumatic brain injury. The impact was instant. My world vanished. Operations after operations, and I had no idea. No memory, no pain, no self. I didn't even know I was so close to death every single day. But I was right there. I was brought home, still in a coma. Not to my old room though, but to a space that no longer felt like mine. My room was turned into an ICU. Beeping machines surrounded me just to keep track of the body that had no presence. Later onwards, my sense of hearing came back, but the only sound that reached me was the beeping of a hospital machine. It took 3 months before sound returned. Faint voices floated in, but I couldn't tell who they belonged to. Eventually, I began recognizing voices I used to know, but each word felt like a riddle my brain couldn't solve. My brain was dead. It heard the sound, but didn't understand it. I couldn't speak for more than 6 months. Every time I tried to say something, it felt like dragging my voice through sand. Every time I tried to say something, they had to remove the breathing valve from my throat. And then I had 8 to 10 seconds, just 8 to 10 seconds before I started to choke. My eldest sister practiced this with me all day. Whenever I wasn't asleep, she was right there, helping me use every breath just to say a few words. All this effort just so I could speak again, just so I could be myself again. Back then, I was always moving, an athlete on my school's football team, always training, always running. The day my father and brother lifted me toward a mirror, everything inside me cracked. I hadn't seen myself in months. I saw a stranger in the mirror, limp arms, crooked face, a swollen eye that no longer opened. My body was a battlefield. I thought, this cannot be my life anymore. In my mind, I was strong. I would get up and say, "Let's go out for food," whenever I heard my friends nearby. I was convinced I was rising. I could feel my back lifting, but in the real world, I was motionless. Not even a finger responded. While I was unconscious, I would imagine walking through my house, even though I couldn't move at all. I tried to rebuild my house in my mind, to walk through it, just to feel like I existed somewhere. Not knowing who or where I was felt like being locked in a prison without walls. I couldn't even ask myself, who am I? The smell of food would occasionally reach me as my mother cooked tirelessly for the visitors. I yearned to eat, but my body wouldn't respond, and my desire remained trapped inside me. For 7 months, I couldn't eat. The frustration and hatred built up inside me, but my body lacked the strength to show it. The first taste of real food after months was tangerine juice, fed to me by my sister, who carefully used a teaspoon as I couldn't even manage a sip by myself. Gradually, I began resuming small activities, like dining out with my family, though I still needed someone to support my head as I couldn't hold it up myself. My sisters took me out to the restaurants, but it was a constant struggle. One had to hold my head while the other fed me, as I lacked strength to even hold my head up. Every bite I took, what felt like forever, as I struggled to chew, too weak to manage even the simplest task. The months of inactivity made me feel like a newborn, relearning how to move, walk, and even speak once again from the start. For more than 6 months, speech eluded me. When therapy began, it was a struggle. Painful, exhausting, and slow. A valve in my throat helped me breathe. But every time I tried to speak, it had to be removed. A constant reminder of how fragile my body was. When the valve was gone, I could only try to speak for a few seconds before my body betrayed me and I choked. I lost the ability to see in 3D. Everything felt flat, fragmented, like a puzzle missing half its pieces. Where does it start? Where does it end? No clue. My brother held me as I stepped outside for the first time. The sky above moved me to tears. Yet I could barely see it clearly. My right eye squinted unnaturally. Everything doubled. Misaligned. The word never looked whole. I constantly felt suffocated, as if even the sky and the mountains were cut in half, fragmented by my broken eyes. I missed the mountains. The beauty was still out there, but I couldn't reach it with my broken sight. I had forgotten what normal vision was, until that magical moment after the surgery, when I opened my eyes and saw clearly again. With my distorted vision, even something as simple as going down the stairs became terrifying. Without depth perception, every step felt like a leap into the unknown. My eyes showed me two realities at once. I paused my studies for 2 years to fully focus on recovery, physically and mentally. At 22, I felt like a newborn, relearning how to live from the scratch. Memory, speech. My language skills were all jumbled. I sometimes spoke in dialects I had never used before. Like my mind was pulling from places I didn't even recognize. Each morning for 2 years, I began my day at the hospital for physical therapy. Before even stepping into a classroom. One of the most haunting moments I faced in the hospital was during an ENG test. Sticky glue pinned the electrodes to my shaved scalp before they lowered a helmet-like device tightly over my head. Then the lights went out. For the next 15 minutes, I sat in total darkness, bombarded by machine sounds. And blinding flashes of light. I would start sweating, heart racing. Every time I had the test, I feared I might have another epileptic episode. After a couple of years of isolation and repetition, I turned to learning digital media. To feel alive again. Video editing became my new word. But it wasn't built for a body like mine. My body resisted, but I found ways to create. Left hand on the mouse, toes on the keyboard keys, and months of pure will. I kept rubbing my eyes, but the screen never got clearer, just more painful. My vision kept switching eyes, like my brain couldn't decide where to look from. The constant flickering between eyes left me dizzy and in pain. To stop the chaos, I covered one eye, forcing my vision to stay still. I returned to the university, but it felt like I was stepping into a life I didn't remember. My memory loss made it feel like I was studying somewhere I had never been before. Still, I finished my degree on time. With support, persistence, and a quiet kind of strength.